Hello everyone, welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. I'm Madison.
And I'm Nick, and this is Building Home.
We have been working hard over the years, building up our family real estate business and our home renovation skills. And now we are here at our biggest project yet. And we've started this YouTube channel to bring you guys along for the journey of renovating this entire house, top to bottom, room by room, and hopefully help out anybody who's interested in doing similar things.
We're working on our living room renovation right now. So far, we've taken you through the walkthrough where we went through design plans, ideas, and troubleshooting. We've also gone through our demo where, most importantly, we removed that ugly stained carpet and started our flooring prep. We'll link those videos above so you can check them out and catch up on everything that we've been doing.
And today we are finally starting to make it pretty again. We are installing our hardwood floors. And for those of you who may not already know, we are weaving in red oak into our existing red oak that was already in the house. And we are beginning the starting process of cutting out our custom fireplace around.
To start, we're running over the entire floor with the shop vac, making sure to pick up any nails or staples that are sticking out, and to pick up any stray demo dust. For our underlayment, we're using Aquabar, and we were psyched to see that the previous installers actually used the same underlayment. We cut out any underlayment that was damaged in the demo and put down fresh pieces where we could.
If you are installing real hardwoods, you need to moisture test. Now, don't get intimidated by this. Moisture readers are very accurate and very affordable. So we are in a pretty humid environment, which means that we need to make sure our subfloors and our hardwoods were all under around 11 to 12% humidity. Your environment may differ depending on your climate, so do the research for your area. And of course, follow the manufacturer's instructions above all else. You also want to be sure that your subfloor and your hardwoods that have been acclimating to your environment are within roughly 2 to 4 degrees of each other to ensure that their moisture levels are quite similar. So our subfloor was reading, I think, from like high 8s to high 10s, and our hardwoods were reading high 6s to high 9s. So that was all within perfect range, and we were a go for install.
Okay, so we are about to lay our first row. We got these boards to match. They are pre-finished red oak. And with over time, they're actually going to change their color and kind of blend in a little bit more. But for right now, we're going to lay our first one. And now, instead of using our nailer like we're going to in a minute, we're going to use this guy, nailing down into the floors. And what we've done here is allow...
Whoops, hold please.
Oh, we're over there.
Okay.
And what we've done here is put a couple shims between the baseboard and the board that we're about to lay to create an expansion gap that will allow the seasonal expansion and contraction of the wood to kind of move in back and forth. We would have loved a bigger expansion gap, but to do that, we would have had to rip up all the floors that were already here, and that's something we were trying not to do. So we're gonna go with this,
Fingers
and I
crossed.
think it'll be all right. Fingers crossed.
You can see that we, and by we, I mean Nick, is face nailing in the first few rows. And the reason that you want to face nail first is because when you pull in that floor nail gun that is hooked up to an air compressor and is, what's the word? I always forget. Actuated
Pneumatic.
or pneumatic. When you switch to the pneumatic air gun, it's hooked up to this huge air compressor. You're smacking it down super hard, and you need a couple rows that are really solid and structured. Otherwise, you're going to risk knocking the wood kind of off path, maybe even crushing your baseboard. So always face nail your first few rows.
If you watched our living room walkthrough video, you know what step joints and H joints are and why to avoid them. So to avoid those weak joints, make sure you're pulling different lengths and pulling from different boxes to ensure color and grain variation. So we have laid our first 3 rows of floor here. And we face nailed them all down with our brad nailer. And now we're gonna change over to our floor nailer, which is this big old guy. And it is powered by a big air compressor. And basically this is gonna make it go way quicker. And we're gonna just start getting this thing going. So with this floor nailer, we're gonna go every 8 inches with a nail. If you have wider floors than this, it's probably every 6 inches. Check your manufacturer's recommendations for that. But since these are pretty skinny floors, we don't have to do as many nails. But we actually will be doing more nails. Since they are so skinny, we're just gonna have to do more rows. So here we go. Yeah!
Nice. When you switch to the big flooring nail gun, it's probably gonna take some time for you to figure out the right amount of pressure for you. But what you want is for the nail head to be perfectly flush against the wood. If you are hitting too hard, it's going to countersink it. And if you're not hitting it hard enough, then the little nail head is gonna be sticking out and it's gonna cause problems for the rest of your install.
I pulled out a lot of nails that did not go all the way in and had to use an entire new board. So it'll take some time to figure out. You're about to see my shirt change about 1,000,000 times because weaving in takes a lot longer than just laying fresh new floors.
On the other side of the room, we are cutting around our custom fireplace surround.
So we have just gotten to our little circle area here. Before this, it's been all straight cuts, which have been pretty easy. I've just been using my miter saw to cut those guys, but now we're at our circle. So this requires a little different strategy for us. Basically, we're gonna use our jigsaw to cut individual pieces as we go. That way, like honestly, if I mess up one, I can recut a different one and it would be okay. So I want to take you through kind of what the plan is when we're doing this stuff. Now, I've already marked the board that's coming next, but I'm going to show you a test board that is kind of the idea behind what we're going to be doing. So I've kind of made myself a little dance floor here with some scrap pieces of wood that I know we aren't going to use because they're warped or they have holes in them or other things. And basically, I'm going to take these things and I'm kind of just letting my plywood rest on top. And I've also marked our semicircle down on, you can kind of see it, on our underlayment. You can see that. And I've also marked where those ends meet here and here. And then I actually have a middle mark as well. So we can get exactly to where we want to be. And we line that up, perfect. Push it against our edge so we're good on all sides. And now this is directly over our line that we're going to be cutting into. Let's say that this is our next board right here that we're going to lay. This is our last board that's going to come up against our plywood, our concrete, all of that stuff. And this is the board previous. We're going to make sure that this board is all the way in and lined up with where it needs to get. And then after that is lined up, we'll know exactly where we need to cut this for this to line up perfectly. Now that we have our board in place, we're going to take our pencil and we're going to mark exactly this line. So we have the exact moment. And now it might not look like there's much of a curve there. Almost looks straight, but it's the slightest little curve. Now, if this was a larger piece of board, if these were wider planks, we would see that curve a lot better. So now that we have our piece, we're going to take our jigsaw and just cut through there and pretty much line it up perfect. So it'll be ready to go. Let's go outside and I'll show you guys on the jigsaw on the real piece that's next and see how this all works out. What?
So this is the actual piece of the
Can't hear you.
This is
What?
This is the real piece, right?
This is the real piece. As you can see, this is our little circle. That's our mark. We just want to take off that corner. So we got our jigsaw. Here. I'll do this. Safety first, guys.
Yeah.
Safety first. Oh. Smudgy. I want some fudge. No, I said smudge. So we've got our board that we want cut here, clamped down, so it's not gonna move when I start sawing it and just like fly in the air and then the cut's all ruined, all that stuff. So you wanna clamp them down, make sure that's happening. So we're gonna make our cut here. So I don't know if you can see. Clean that up a little bit with the sander. See that little, there's this slight curve. I don't know if you can even see it, but it's just slightly there. But that's so important that our boards will match up. So I got my sandpaper here. Just gonna sand off the edges just a little bit. Don't wanna get too much of the top of the board because that's the face that we're gonna see. We're just trying to get some of that stuff off that we were seeing before. Okay, we're gonna take this inside and we're gonna set it up. You gonna help? Okay. Now we're, excuse me. So we got our piece here ready to go, ready to get put down. If all goes well, we should have like a little gap between our line here on our underlayment and our line that we just sawed. Aria is right next to me. I don't know if you can see her. Okay, then we're gonna knock these guys in like we have been. And as you can see, if you come over here, see that line? We got that little line in between and it follows exactly where we wanna go. And then now there's just a little bit of line in between those two. Looks good. We'll get this nailed down. So I'll repeat that process for the rest of the boards along this semicircle, and then it should be pretty easy just to drop this plywood and then our cement board in for our fireplace surround. I'm gonna keep going, and when I get to these, I'll start cutting them, and if anything goes wrong, I'll probably check back in with you. Okay, cool. See ya.
See you in literally
2
the
seconds.
next second. We just rinse and repeat this process until it's done. Lay the next piece of hardwood we want to install, lay the plywood template over it and mark it with a pencil, cut the piece with the jigsaw, sand off any rough edges, and nail the piece of flooring into place.
Now it's just the painstaking process of weaving in on one end and custom cutting on the other.
Because of the way our living room is constructed, we finally hit a point around the last 3 to 4 feet of install where there was no more weaving in to do, no more custom cuts to do, which meant that we got the rows in a lot faster.
The final part of any flooring install is the trim. We went with quarter round because we're trying to match the rest of the house, which we will also have to paint white to match. I think the end result is gorgeous. The floors aren't a perfect match right now, but they'll blend more over time, and we may just end up sanding and restaining just because we want to.
We have so much more to show you guys with this living room renovation. Obviously, we're finishing out the rest of the custom fireplace surround. We have some thrift flip furniture. We want to do some custom built-ins. So stick around for the journey. Be sure to like this video if you do in fact like the content. Subscribe so you can see all future content. Ring the notification bell so you are notified of the future content, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
So you're gonna say,
So this is what you're gonna say.
it's gonna be great.
In the next video, you're gonna be able to see us do some stuff. Something's gonna happen. You're gonna be there, you're gonna watch it.
I'm hungry.
I know, it's all right. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, instead, whenever you're ready.
I'm trying to get some, you know?
Yeah. I think the end result of these floors are something.
We have some custom built-ins we want to work on.
Me too.
Oh my God, at the same time!